Good day, everyone. The topic that we will tackle today is all about global demography and global migration. But first, I would like to inform to you that this presentation is for educational use only. Before we start, here are some learning objectives. First is understanding population trends. Second is analyzing migration patterns. Third is cultural and societal awareness. And last one is policy and decision-making skills. What is population and demography all about? Population and demography are related fields that focus on the study of human populations and their characteristics. Here's a simple explanation of what each of these fields is about. Population. So, population refers to the total number of people in a specific area or the world. It encompasses the study of the size, distribution, growth, and compositions of human populations. Population studies help us understand how the number of people in a region changes over time and how these changes impact various aspects of society, such as resources, infrastructures, and services. So, demography. Demography is a subfield of population studies that delves deeper into the statistical and mathematical aspects of populations. Demographers analyze data related to birth rates, death rates, migration, age structures, and other demographic factors. They use this data to make predictions and draw conclusions about population trends. Demography is a crucial of governments, business, and organizations to plan for the future, including healthcare, education, and social services based on the changing demographics of a population.
Theory of demographic transition is a model that describes the historical and expected demographic changes that occur as countries transition from pre-industrial to post-industrial societies. It's a framework for understanding how population trends, including birth rates, death rates, and overall population growth, changes over time. The theory of demographic transition has four main stages, each of which is associated with distinct demographic characteristics and socio-economic developments. These stages reflect a transition from a society with high population growth driven by a high birth rate and high death rate in the early stages to a society with low population growth, characterized by low birth and death rates in the later stage. So, the demographic transition is often associated with economic development, urbanization, improved healthcare, increased access to education, and changes in family planning and social norms.
Demographic transition opposite that with improvements in health, mortality rates starts to drop faster than fertility rates. This results in a short-lived increase in family size due to the lag between mortality and fertility. Population will increase.
Global migration in contemporary world refers to the movement of people across national borders, both within regions and between continents, driven by various factors and occurring in the context of our modern, interconnected, and rapidly changing global society. This phenomenon is characterized by its diversity, complexity, and profound impact on the countries of origin and destination. Global migration in a contemporary world signifies a dynamic movement of people across international borders driven by economic, political, environmental, and social factors. It has become a defining feature of our interconnected global society, with significant implications for both sending and receiving countries. Effective management and cooperation among nations are vital to address the challenges and harness the opportunities presented by this transformative phenomenon.
International Retirement Migration o RIM, retired people may have the financial power to buy properties abroad which can either a first or a second home. These people put a lot of pressure on urbanization and the mass construction of housing, significantly in coastal and rural areas. This type of migration can also include people leaving their job and moving to a rural location in another country. These people may telework or set up a business. Internal migration. Separately to international and global migration, this type of migration involves a person moving from one area to another within the same country, such as from the north of England to the south of England. No international borders are crossed. This type of migration crosses over with a rural-urban migration or counter-urbanization.
Labor migration. Labor migration involves the movement of people from one country to another in search of employment opportunities. Individuals migrate to countries where there is a demand for specific skills or labor, often to fill gaps in the host country's workforce. Labor migrants contribute to the economy of both their home and host countries. However, labor migration is not without challenges. So, migrant workers often face exploitation, discrimination, and precarious working conditions. Struggles for social integration and the preservation of cultural identity can create tension both for migrants and the communities receiving them. Moreover, addressing issues related to migrants' rights, social inclusion, and equal opportunities in the host countries remains a significant challenge for policymakers. Next, forced migration. Forced migration encompasses movement of people who are compelled to leave their homes but do not fit the legal definitions of refugees. This category includes internally displaced persons or IDPs who are forced to relocate within their own country due to conflict, natural disaster, or development projects. Forced migration also includes people affected by environmental factors such as climate change, leading to displacement. Forced migration can be triggered by various factors including armed conflicts, ethnic or religious persecution, natural disasters, and economic instability. Displaced individuals often face life-threatening situations, leaving behind their homes, possessions, and sometimes their families. The psychological and emotional trauma resulting from forced migration can be enduring, impacting individuals long after their physical displacement has occurred.
Global migration occurs for a variety of reasons, and it is a complex phenomenon influenced by social, economic, political, environmental, and personal factors. Here are some of the key reasons why people migrate globally. Economic opportunity. Many people migrate in search of better economic prospects. They move to countries with stronger economies, higher wages, and more job opportunities to improve their living standards and provide for their families. Employment. Labor migration is a significant driver of global migration. Skilled and unskilled workers may seek employment abroad, often in industries facing labor shortages and such as healthcare, construction, agriculture, and technology. Family reunification. People may migrate to reunite with family members who have already moved to another country. Family reunification policies in many countries make it easier for close relatives to join their loved ones. Education. International students often migrate to pursue higher education, seeking better academic opportunities, access to top universities, and exposure to a different culture and learning experience. Escape from conflict and violence. Refugees and asylum seekers flee their home countries due to conflict, persecution, or violence. These migrants are often forced to leave their homes for their safety. Environmental factors. Climate change, natural disasters, and environmental degradation can displace people from their homes, leading to environmentally induced migration. Rising sea levels, droughts, and extreme weather events can make certain areas uninhabitable. Political factors. People may migrate due to political instability, oppression, or lack of political freedoms in their home countries. They seek political asylum in more stable and democratic nations. Healthcare and quality of life. Some individuals migrate to access better healthcare services, a higher quality of life, or a cleaner environment. This is particularly common among retirees. Personal reasons. Personal factors such as a desire for adventure, a change of scenery, or cultural exploration can also drive migration. Some people choose to migrate simply for personal growth and new experiences. Human trafficking and smuggling. Unfortunately, some people are coerced or deceived into migrating through human trafficking or smuggling networks, often under dangerous and exploitative conditions. It's important to note that global migration is a diverse and multifaceted phenomenon, and the motivations for migration can vary greatly from one individual or family to another. Migration policies and regulation in different countries also play a significant role in shaping the patterns of global migration. Additionally, globalization, improved transportation, and increased connectivity have facilitated and accelerated the movement of people across borders.
Advantages for sending countries. One of the advantages of sending countries, number one, is remittance. When individuals from sending countries move to the other countries to work and send money back home, they often send remittances to their families. This influx or funds can contribute significantly to their sending country's economy. Next is skill and knowledge transfer. Immigrants may acquire new skills, knowledge, and experiences abroad, which they can bring back to their home countries. This can lead to the transfer of technology, innovation, and best practices, which can benefit the sending country's economy. And next is reduce unemployment and overcrowding. Outward immigration can alleviate pressures on labor market and reduce overcrowding in sending countries, potentially lowering unemployment rates. Next is advantages for receiving countries. Number one is economic growth. Immigration can boost a receiving country's economy by increasing the labor force, consumer base, and tax revenues. Immigrants often feel labor shortages in sectors like agriculture, construction, and healthcare and technology. Next is cultural exchange. Receiving countries benefit from exposure to new cultures, traditions, and cuisines. This cultural exchange can lead to a more vibrant and cosmopolitan society. Next is entrepreneurship. Many immigrants start business and create jobs, stimulating economic growth. They often contribute to entrepreneurship and innovation, making receiving countries more competitive.
Disadvantage of receiving countries and developing countries. So, migrants eventually induce social, economic, and political problems in receiving countries, including increases in the populations with adverse effects on existing social institutions, increasing in demands for goods and services, and also displacements of national from occupations countryside in the cities, and increases in the size of informal sectors in the national economy, deteriorations in salary structures of the informal, rural, and urban sectors of the economy, and also transculturation. Occasional use of customs and traditions by the local population and the reduction in disease and social problems. So these receiving countries do benefit from the infusion of skills, but governors must also do everything possible to facilitate integrations of refugees. So, the consequences of migrations for developing countries, which include the aspect of adaptation of labor markets to demands of the economic degree, and a type of considerations of migrant populations in receiving countries, and the differences that arise between formal and informal and urban and rural sectors of the economy. Lastly is the type and degree of concentration, interaction of population groups, and possible moral deformation of some migrants and their deviant behavior. So, those receiving countries must have policies that possibly address the presence of economic immigrants and refugees on the territory, without this being considered detrimental to national interest.